Hello kids, we welcome you to our KIDSLAND family.
So kids, as usual, our teacher Mamo Kanu is in touch today to do today's lesson for you. So let's hand over the program to our teacher.
Yes, Joanna, today we are talking about the King David. Now let's go to today's lesson. Every inch a king. After Saul's death, David came back to live with his own people, for he was of the tribe of Judah. He went to Hebron, the old home of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for the Lord had told him to go there. And the men of his tribe came to Hebron and anointed him king. The other tribes did not come, for Saul's son and the captain of his host, Abner, were still holding the kingdom. But when both were killed by an enemy, then all the other tribes came to Hebron and made a league with him. So 7 years after Saul's death, David became king over all Israel. He was then 30 years old and his reign lasted 40 years. Then David began to establish the kingdom. There was a rocky height not far from Hebron with a valley all around it that was still held by the Jebusites, one of the tribes of Canaan that the Lord said must not be left in the land. The city was Jerusalem, and the stronghold was Zion. And close by Zion was the mount to which Abraham had once gone to offer up Isaac. David wanted this stronghold for the chief city of the kingdom, and so he took it, and it became the city of David. He built a beautiful house for himself there, and King Hiram of Tyre sent skilled workmen and cedar trees, and they built a house of cedar for him. But stronger than the wish to have a house for himself was the longing to see the ark of God set within the curtains of the tabernacle in the city of David. It had been in the house of Abinadab in Kirjath-jearim for 70 years, ever since it was sent home by the Philistines who captured it. Because the people had grown cold toward God, they did not wish to hear the reading of the law, or be led by his counsel. Now David called together the flower of all Israel, 30,000 men, and they went to bring the ark to the city of David. While on the way, a man who had laid his hand upon the ark when it was unsteady was smitten and died, for no one but the priests and Levites could touch the ark of God. David feared to bring it further, and so he placed it in the house of Obed-edom, which was nearby. It was there 3 months, and great blessing came to the house because of it. When David heard this, he went joyfully down to bring the ark to his city, and it was with sacrifices and shouting, and the sound of trumpet that it was brought and set in the tabernacle that had been made ready for it. And so the worship of the Lord was established in Jerusalem, which was to be the great altar for the sacrificial worship until the sacrifice should be taken away, and the kingdom of Christ established on the earth. But David was not satisfied. See, he said to Nathan the prophet, I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of God dwelleth within curtains. That night the Lord spoke to Nathan and told him what to say to the king. He promised to establish the royal house of David, and give final peace to the people, and also to build a house for the worship of the Lord. But he said that David's son, who should be king after him, should build a house to his name. And of him the Lord said, I will be his father, and he shall be my son. Then King David went into the tabernacle and thanked the Lord for his promise to him and to his son, and asked his blessing upon them. Though he reigned 40 years, he never forgot that his work was not to build the temple of the Lord, but to prepare for it. So he subdued enemies, built cities, made leagues with friendly nations, gathered much wealth of wood, and stone, and gold, and silver, and precious stones for the house of the Lord, and trained choirs of singers for the service. He also kept his heart open toward the Lord, so that he was able to write some wonderful poems that were set to music and sung by the temple choirs. We call them the Psalms of David. Though David had grown rich and great, he did not forget his promise to Jonathan. He called Ziba, who had been Saul's servant, and said to him, Is there not yet any of the house of Saul that I may show the kindness of God to him? Then Ziba told him of a man who was lame in both his feet, who was the son of Jonathan. David sent for him, and gave him all the land of Saul, and a place was made for him at the king's table among his own sons, and it was his while he lived.
So kids, today we learned a lot about the story King David. We hope that your life will get many things from this. If you are not connected to our website yet, connect to our website today, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then you can watch as soon as we post a video.
This is the KIDSLAND family.